Here we go. Let's get started. Chapter one, value proposition. So, the value proposition is a central piece of your company and of your business model. So, it's something that you really need to work on constantly, and you would want to discuss that with your team and also probably get constant feedback from your existing customers to keep getting better at what your value proposition is and adjust it to what type of customer you want to serve. So the four things we're going to look at is first an introduction, which I've named here, give them the fish. Second, what is value actually? Third, what do people really want? Because we're going to take throughout the course as much as possible the perspective of the customer when it comes to value proposition and the perspective on the entrepreneur, which is you or business operator, to decide how we're going to transform and grow our business. And then finally, we're going to end with the components of a value proposition, how to build a value proposition, and a checklist to see what is a good value proposition. So let's dive in. Give him the fish. So give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day. Teach a man to fish and he'll eat for a lifetime. As it says here, that's probably a good idea for a hungry fisherman, but it's a lousy idea for a business. Because most of us customers, we don't want to learn how to fish. We come home at night, we're tired, we've worked all week. We actually want to go to a restaurant, pick the fish, and they serve us the fish, probably with a nice glass of white wine. So the lesson here is give people what they actually want. And to know how to do that, we first have to actually understand what value is and how people think and operate. So let's have a look. What is value? So I've made some definitions here to look at value, and then we'll look at some strategies to discover value. So what is value? A basic definition would be something desirable and of worth created through exchange or effort. That's like the dictionary definition, which is okay, but it doesn't really help us that much. The second definition in a business context is really, really crucial to understand. So value means helping people. So any business succeeds because of the value it provides its customers. It succeeds because you're helping someone else. That is the central concept of a value proposition, and I would say of a successful business. If we go a bit further, we have to understand that value is about emotional needs. So when you talk about features, you're describing something. When you talk about benefits for someone, helping someone, then it gets emotional. Then there's business to be made. So always talk about the benefits that the customer will receive when they do business with you, when they purchase your product or your service. So this is the definition of value. Now, what are some strategies to discover value? Let's have a look at three of them that I think you will be able to use in your business. First, dig deeper to discover and to uncover the hidden needs or wants of your customer. Sometimes what people say they want and what they actually want are really different things. So let me give you an example. If somebody tells you, I'd like to have a 9.2.4 Atmos surround system with a 4K 3D projector, is that what they really want? Or do they actually really want a new fantastic favorite room to spend time with their family after a long working day? So keep asking, keep looking at what the real needs and wants are of your customer. Get past the first words and blurb sometimes. Customers do not always know exactly what they want. Famous Henry Ford quote here. He said, if I would have asked my customers what they wanted, then they would wanted to have a faster carriage. So he figured out that they wanted to have a more efficient means of transportation, and he came up with the car. Second example to discover value with your customer. So make your customer a hero. For example, simplify a complex issue or a complex process and make their life easier, their work easier, and if possible, even get them to get some recognition and appreciation in the process. So you make your customer the hero by the service or the product you supply. An example, deliver a complete design spec. I mean, with the drawings, don't go back and forth 28 times with the architect within 48 hours or 72 hours. That architect is going to be wowed by how simple it was to deal with you. And that architect will probably turn the project around faster because of you and will get the recognition and the appreciation. So then you're really creating value. You can immediately see the benefits for this architect in working with you and continue to do so. The third strategy, sell what people buy. I mean, this sounds so obvious, and still we make this mistake time and time again, certainly in technical industries like ours. So think more about what people actually want than what you think they need. So let me explain with an example. So you start by asking for their needs, for their problems, how do they live, who's in the family, but don't anticipate, don't think that they want a smartphone if what they want is actually to communicate with their family. That's not the same thing. So first listen and then think, and probably even dialogue with them, how you can help. This is a very powerful way to connect with your customer and to discover pockets of value. So let's go through the three strategies again. Dig deeper for hidden needs. Secondly, make your customer the hero. Thirdly, sell what they buy. Don't anticipate, listen to your customer. So this was the piece about value. So now we understand what value is and how we can discover value. So next up is to have a look at what people actually want. We are really, really, really simple when it comes to what we want. We either want more of a bunch of things or we want less of a bunch of things. So I've listed 5 here, my 5 favorites of what typically customers want more of. So they want more simplicity. They want more love. They want more money, acceptance, and if possible, free time. And or they want less of the following 5 things. They want less complexity. They hate stress. If you can take stress away, they'll be so happy. People would love to get rid of conflict, hassle, and uncertainty. So if we know that, we can come up with the super duper magic formula. I mean, what can you and your business add or take away to improve someone's life? And of course, get paid for it. But this is really the crux of figuring out your value proposition. You look at the benefits for your customer in this framework, and then you'll get pretty darn close. So this was what people really want. Now let's have a look at the value proposition. We'll first look at a checklist on the way on the right, then the building blocks of a value proposition. We'll go through how to create one, and then a checklist on what a good value proposition is once you've made one. So a value proposition explains how your product or your service solves someone's problems, or at least it improves their situation. It is also clear to the customer what specific benefits they can expect. And they should understand why they buy it from you and not from someone else. What a value proposition is not is a simple slogan. Here we have the example, think different from Apple. It's also not a strategic marketing position. So here we have a short checklist of what a value proposition is and should do. So what are the building blocks of a good value proposition? And I really want you to have a look at this next time you send out a proposal, you build your website, or you make a presentation to a customer, to investors, or to a supplier. So you start with the headline. The headline describes the end benefit that your company is offering the customer. Then there's a paragraph or a subheadline below, and it's a little bit more detailed explanation of what you offer, who you offer it to, and why you're offering it. If possible, and I'm very big on this, try to have 3 bullet points. People love bullet points. Why? Because we're all short in time and we want a shortcut just like anybody else. Lastly, again, very important, less text, more visuals. Show a video or a compelling image to enhance the message you want to bring. So for your proposals, for your website, for your presentation, think about the headline, think about a little paragraph explaining what you offer, who you offer it to, why you're doing this. The 3 bullet points, strongly recommend to add them, and a visual element to really enhance your message to make it stronger. So here you have the building blocks of a good value proposition. And lastly, let's go through the process of creating a value proposition. We said it before, we're going to start with the point of view of the customer. So identify the customer's benefits. Make a long list of all the benefits that you could offer your customer. What are their needs, what are their wants? Make a long list. The second step will be to link your product or your service to the benefits that your customer is looking for. Thirdly, explain to the customer why they should do business with you. I mean, there's so many options out there. After you made the connection between the benefits and your service or products, you have to let them know why they should be doing business with you. You could call this differentiating yourself from your competition, but I think it's more like a promise to the customer that they're making the right choice of doing business with you. So that's everything around the building blocks of a value proposition and how to build a value proposition. Now we're just going to have a look at what makes a good value proposition. Well, these 4 points. If you have these 4 points, you're spot on. So clarity, easy to understand, no industry speak or complex words. Second, it communicates specific benefits and results to the customer. What will they get out of it? Third, you explain how it's better and different. And lastly, it can be read and understood in less than 5 seconds. So keep it short and to the point. This concludes our first lesson, which was all about value proposition. Let's recap. Give people what they want. Give them the fish. Don't teach them how to fish. Second, what's value? How can you help people? What are the benefits for your customer? What do people really want? Think what you can give people or take away from their lives so that their lives improve, their lifestyle improves. What do they want more or less of? And how can you get paid for that?